right, good morning, guys. So today, Brother Clifford couldn't make it. We had chapel, and the chapel just so happened to be about life and death, and so we thought it applicable, you know. Press play on that. There's our man. So we're gonna do the little few, just like 4 points that I had for the chapel that are applicable, and then the rest of it we're just kind of gonna make about Frank. And so we're calling it Choose Life, and it's from the Moses scripture about, choose you this day, and it's about blessings and curses, and it's about life and death, right? And to bring it down to where we live, and this is a perfect example of how this is life and death, what we're doing here. Pastor says it all the time, that it's not kids' camp, that this is life and death, guys, and this is one example. And I would say that we shouldn't be afraid of dying, right? I think, really dying is the easy part, and it's living that's hard. This life is so hard, and dealing with tragedies as they come is like half of life is dealing with tragedies. Like people say about, something about 90% of life is how you deal with stuff. And of course we shouldn't be afraid of dying. We know about salvation, and we're so blessed. But why choose life? And how do we choose life? And so 4 points that I had from that chapel about, what's the next slide? We just did all this morning, and
it's Tuesday.
Go ahead. What's the space? Afraid of dying. So, and these are so applicable to here, but they're also applicable to right now and what's happening, the tragedy that we're dealing with. 4 points on choosing life. How do we choose life? You make a decision, right? What got you here? Probably. You made the choice to come here. You didn't do that. But now that you're here, I know that not all of you have really made the choice. Stop being, half in and half out. Make the decision once and for all to be 100% in for Christ, right? That's the decision that we have to make, all right? Are you happy where you are in your life? Are you happy? Anyone? You happy? I thought you'd say that. If you weren't, though, you could choose to make a difference. You could choose to take a step forward. You could choose to take a step to the right or left and turn it around. Wherever you are, you can fix it. Every passing minute is another chance to turn it all around, right? Make a choice and change it. Make the rest of your life the best of your life, okay? And this makes me think about Frank a lot, in that he, how at times you thought, heck, this guy's going to be a leader around here. Like, this guy's going to teach the word someday, or this guy could be a missionary. But then other days were different. You got to make that full choice, and you got to completely surrender. That's the choice, is to completely surrender to the will of God and do what He says, and let the Holy Spirit lead you every single day, right? And it was so great when you'd think he had made that choice, and he's digging into the Bible, and he's asking all those crazy questions that he'd ask. You thought, man, at least this guy at least he's reading his word. That's where the change comes from anyway. And, but then, sometimes in life, and before we've really made that choice, you take a step forward and you take a step back. And this has been, and I can speak for myself in my life, I've taken many steps forward and several back, to equip yourself. Now, in life, the people in life that are not victims are the ones who have properly equipped themselves, right? And so what we're doing here, and what we're doing in that stuffy room back there, that not everyone enjoys being in, and that is somewhat foreign at first, to everybody really at first. It's what we're doing though is equipping. That's right. We're getting equipped, and that's where I found my love really. And when I was here, I couldn't get enough of it. You know, I really loved it, and being in there, being anywhere with your word, and that's how you're going to equip yourself to go through life and to choose to live a victorious life, not just to live and take up space, but to live for Christ and to live to make a difference, right? Number 3, be consistent. I say this all the time, that experience and consistency wins the day. And what helped me also, and just know my life was nuts. And just know that what helped me was this place teaching me a routine. And once I left, I was terrified not to have a routine anymore. Because yes sir, because after being so up and down, and just an insane life. I mean, looking back at it, it's just nuts to even think about. But what worked was being consistently reading my Bible, consistently helping someone else. When I realized it wasn't about me, everything changed. Before, as soon as I woke up, all I could think about was myself. It's all I ever thought about. And my addiction, that's all we think about is how we feel. And something else that we want you guys to learn here is that it's not about how you feel, right? It's not.
That's right.
And sometimes you guys can tell how I feel, good and bad. And I'd rather it not be that way. I would rather be level. But another point of what we're going to talk about today is that we need to get real with each other.
That's right.
Be consistent. Consistently read your word. Consistently devote, right? Treat your brothers the right way. Don't be so up and down. We've had enough of that. Way up. Come on. Way up and then way down. I mean, I'm tired of it. And the people that call me on the phone, they're tired of it too, I hope. And they've been way up and way down. And my voice on the phone is mellow, you know? And that's what they need, and that's what you guys need. You don't need staff members that are up and down, right? And it's not always your fault, some of these things. I mean, we're human too, and we're the same as you. We've just been walking it out a bit longer, and we're still trying. We believe. I mean, you don't think we put up with stuff too, you know? I mean, we're here because we want to continue to grow. And if I were to leave and go to a job where I could maybe make some more money, maybe not have to be surrounded by my coworkers and clients all the time, I could do that, but I wouldn't have what I have today, and I wouldn't be growing with the Lord like I am today.
That's right.
And I wouldn't be able, you know how much time a day I get to spend looking at the Bible and showing things to guys about the Bible, and I mean, it's incredible that I'm able to do that. It's such a blessing. I couldn't do that anywhere else in the world. I mean, it's amazing. I'm so blessed. So consistent. Don't worry about anyone else, right? That's a big deal. Because we're in such a small environment. It's like, you got nothing else to talk about. Let's talk about how Doug's an idiot or something. You guys focus on yourselves. I mean, when I was in the program, I had Steven, I had Curtis, I had a guy named Chad, you know, I had a guy named Travis, I had the inner circle, and Wade, and you know, we were close, but I didn't congregate anywhere, and I didn't hang with anyone, and I just, you know, anyone was looking for me, they knew I was where I was, and they knew what I was doing. I was reading. And I thought, when are you ever going to get this much time to work on your mind? I mean, you come in sort of initially to work on your bodies because we're run down, but once you get here, I mean, you're better fairly soon, then you need to work on your mind. And that's what God wants from us, right? What is it? The renewing of the mind, of course, right? And that's God's desire for us. That's His will for us, to renew our mind. Frankie always said we were brainwashing him. Yeah. And I said, brother, you need it.
Yeah.
You need it, man, and I needed it.
Pure water, Lord.
You needed it. And so don't worry about what anyone else is doing, right? It's what's going to help you is worrying about what you're doing in your relationship with Christ right now. And what you think maybe you don't have right now, or what you think, I don't know, say Ray, and I know he doesn't think this, but say Ray thinks, you know, Zach's got this and this, and I don't. Why is that? You know, it's just because he hasn't done what I did to get it yet. But him working on his relationship with Christ is, you know, the verse, I mean, all these things are going to be added to him by being faithful. And it's the only way to get anything good in the world, is to be faithful to the one who's always watching, and I swear to you, man, he'll take care of you. Anything you need, he's going to take care of. He's going to provide. These two have been close to not having a home, close to not being able to clothe their kids because of ministry, you know, because they devoted their lives to Jesus. And ministry, the payment isn't monetary in ministry. Right. It's spiritual. These two have almost divorced because of the struggles that not having money causes. But God has provided, right? It's a funny thing. I don't know Jehovah Jireh. I don't know if Jireh is even in the dictionary. I'm sure it's in the concordance. But you notice that there's not a past tense. There's not a Jireh. It's because He always provides. There's no end to His providing. And He's taking care of those people. And as much as sometimes I get upset and I think, heck, man, I do this and this, I'm such a big deal. God hates that. He doesn't want to hear that from me. And as soon as I get my head out of my butt and I focus on you guys, or what He needs, or what He needs, or what He needs, then I get back in shape. You know. But when I think about what old Zach needs, well, man, my heart's black.
That's right.
Anyway, so don't worry about anyone else is doing. That'll help you. Go to the next one, please. Alright. This is, when I got to Cape, this guy here, pass that around. This is Travis. When I got to Cape, he and I got there on the same day. We were real close. He and I finished the Learning Center. I finished in 2 months and 1 day. He finished in 2 months and 3 days. And we ran the Learning Center together. I did the tutoring for the guys studying for GED, and he did the tutoring for the Learning Center. And we were close. And this guy was positive. That smile, that's all you ever saw from him. Stephen, that's all you ever saw from him. I mean, happiest person ever met. Went to Purdue, to school, had the best parent. Bob Heaton was his dad, a congressman, something or other. I mean, the guy had everything in the world. But there were some things that we all kind of knew that he probably needed to talk about. And he and I had the same counselor, and he was always so concerned with helping everyone else. He'd do anything for anyone. He was always counseling and ministering to everyone else. But maybe he needed to talk about some things. And what happened was he left the program. We completed together. He left the program. He and I both went to Bible college. We both had struggles. We both went back for restoration. After his restoration stint, he picked up a bottle again and shot himself. Travis. And because he was so, and it wasn't even that he was upset because he fell. He thought that he let us all down. You know? And you just never can tell. But the thing is, let's talk. You know, let's get real. I mean, it just, maybe the reason why I'm short sometimes, we're all under a lot of pressure. We are, and you know this. Yes! Woo! Hey! Woo! And so we're under a lot of pressure here. sometimes to talk it's because, I don't know, it's like, it's either, a joke, or it's about, well, this guy did this, or Doug wrote me up, or I need toilet paper. But I'll tell you what, though, if you need to talk, like real talk, just stop me and say, dude, I need to say something that's real, and we need to get down to business. Pastor Jeff says that the worst thing that could happen here is someone going 14 months through the program and not talking about their real issues. And this happens all the time. And if you guys think that your counselors are, I don't know, salty, or can't quite relate to you or whatever, you can talk to us. You can grab us, and you can talk to us anytime. Let's get real, I mean, we had, Ryan up there in room 1, just recently passed. We had a guy named Schaefer that went through with us just recently. We had a guy named Nick just recently hang himself. I mean, it's Valentine. Just the day that I found out about Frank, a thing popped up on Facebook that reminds you of people's birthdays, and it was Valentine's. I mean, it's a shame that we're so used to the death. But if we couldn't handle it, there wouldn't be these programs. Someone has to be able to handle these things. But the point is, and the point of why we're doing this and mixing this with chapel, is because right now, all of us guys here, students and some staff, I mean, we're kind of new, and having something like this happen can rock you a little bit, like getting out of routine. And I'll tell you another thing, in 2 years, I've not slept through an alarm clock and forgot to do a wake up one time. Not one time in 2 years. And the reason is, and I learned this from the man that I interned under, is that routine. You got to keep it. You got to keep the schedule. If I were to forget and wake someone up late, then breakfast is thrown off, then chapel's thrown off, that could irritate a guy that's in a fragile state like we are here. And a guy could get into it with someone. Guys could, punch someone else. 2 guys get kicked out. 1 guy goes to prison. 1 guy might die that night. Stelter, good friend. We were in the same hallway in Cape. Started working there for Teen Challenge. He was let go for Teen Challenge from Cape, and worked with Steven at the thrift store, a good friend, one of my favorite people there. Got fired from Cape. Next day, dead in a hotel. I mean, it's...
Say that again, Zach. The next day what?
Just a staff member, a friend that became staff at Cape, got fired, and the next day died. Heroin. He was driving home, stopped at a hotel, found something or other, and never got out of that hotel. And, just this happens all the time, guys. And the only way that we can fight it is to choose life today. And the only way that we can prevent it, one of us, from being this, the only way that we can honor Travis and Stelter and Frank, is to choose life.
That's right.
And to help people. And to help stop a guy that could end up hanging from a noose. Help him, show him Jesus, show him what Christ does, and be a testimony. Don't tell him about it, show him about it. And, all right, what's the next slide say? Okay, 3 things. 3 things, guys. Oh, and that's life in Hebrew. 3 things. There is victory in Jesus, okay? If you think you're hurting or suffering, or if you have suicidal thoughts, there's victory, right?
Yes.
Because you might die trying. A million people have been in a million rehabs, and they've left them. And they've always thought they had another run in them. Well, you don't always. You may die trying. And it's a choice to choose life, right? And it's a choice to stop Doug, to stop Pastor. I know he's a busy man, but you guys know if you're suffering that he'll listen, and I'll listen. And I'm sorry if I come off as short sometimes. And I'll tell you another thing about getting real, is just that that's what's going to help you heal. I mean, what I like to tell people when they check in is that this is where the healing begins. And it did for me. because someone was there to listen to me and to help me through things. If we just get through this thing, not knowing anything but Step Brothers quotes and you know, well, I don't know, that's what she said, jokes. If that's all you get out of this program, and you filled out your paperwork and you turned it into that box, but you didn't get it in here, here, and here, you know, what are we doing, right? And I don't tell my testimony at all. Doug and I just decided that we're going to get real with each other, and that we're going to get real with Pastor, because it's not because of what happened with Frank necessarily, but it was part of it. You know, we have things piling up. Doug's got anger issues, and we don't want to talk about these things. We don't want to put our burdens on you guys. We want you guys to see strong, capable staff members, which you do have, but they're human. Amen. And myself, just yesterday, had a fairly extreme breakdown. I mean, I was tired, and I felt like I did really good work here yesterday. I go home and I'm so anxious to get to sleep. I even took a bubble bath. So anxious to get to sleep. I get out of the bath, I see something on the floor, and I get after it, and I can't stop. And this sounds weird, but